8.5 years later, people still come here to pay their respects and remember the nearly 3,000 lives that were lost when radical Muslims slammed 2 hijacked American airliners into the World Trade Center towers. It was the worst terrorist attack ever on American soil. Today, Imam Faisal Abdul Rauf is pushing forward with a new mosque and community center near Ground Zero. He says it will help bridge the gap and bring healing between Muslims and non-Muslims.
By being in this location, we get the attention and are able to leverage the voice of the vast majority of Muslims who condemn terrorism.
The 13-story mosque is set to be built behind me in the old Burlington Coat Factory, just 2 blocks from Ground Zero. In fact, Friday Muslim prayers are already happening here. For many, it's a cruel reminder of Islamic extremism that took their loved ones' lives. For others, it's a way to move forward.
Just like all other groups. I mean, you have some who are not desirable, but most are fine. So I say go for it. What the heck? This is New York.
I really don't see a problem with it. I think that we have to move past, this is something that happened 10 years ago.
It's yesterday to me. It's yesterday to me. Just this past week was George's birthday.
Rosemary CAIN sees it differently. She lost her son George, a 35-year-old New York firefighter, on 9/11.
It's not the mosque, it's the location, and it is very offensive. You know, New York City is a big place, and there's a lot of areas around there. They can go further uptown, they can go wherever they want to go. Why they chose that place, I don't know. And that's sacred ground.
It's almost like it's taunting us, like he's taunting us. It's a slap in the face. There's so many places where they can go.
Former New York firefighter Tim Brown, a 9/11 survivor, says he has 2 questions for the imam. Where's the $150 million coming from to build the mosque? And where was the Muslim outrage after 9/11?
We suspect that the money comes from places that he wants to hide.
It's coming from all people who believe in peace and who want to see a peaceful relationship between Muslims and non-Muslims.
Now, if that trail was to be investigated in the future, would there be any ties to any terrorist group?
Absolutely none.
As for Muslim outrage after 9/11, the imam says it was there, although Rosemary CAIN says she never heard it.
It should have been loud and clear on September 12th. And what we have heard and what we did see right after the attacks were Muslims dancing in the streets of Brooklyn.
The imam admits mosques have often been used as places to preach jihad and hate against Americans, but says that will not be the case here.
This is an attempt, Wendy, to be part of the solution. We recognize that we're over a billion people worldwide. We recognize there's an element and a susceptibility for some of our young people to be drawn into these types of terrorist actions. We need to work together.
But Middle East expert Daniel Pipes says
the imam of this mosque, Faisal Abdul Rauf, is someone with a very dubious record. He's an Islamist. He's someone who has sympathy with our enemies more than with us. In other words, he wants to apply Islamic law. Granted, he's not doing it via terrorism, but he's using his own methods of education and propagation in order to achieve the same goals.
Would you like to see Sharia law above the U.S. Constitution?
Sharia law cannot be above the law of the land in any country.
Pipes and others like Tim Brown also say it's a well-known Islamic tradition to build on top of an area that you've already conquered.
This is what we call a soft jihad. This is something where they're not doing it in our face. They're doing it very quietly, very stealthy. There's something called taqiyya in their culture, which says you're allowed to lie if it furthers the religion, the Muslim religion. He is engaging in taqiyya.
We are not at ground zero. We are outside the perimeter of ground zero.
If he could be right on top, he would be, but he can't be, so he's as close as he can be.
I will be praying at ground zero for the souls of my best friends, and I will hear Allahu Akbar echoing through the canyons into my ears. That is the same war cry that those terrorists yelled as they flew the planes into the towers.